guys, we're back. It's another episode of the Fearless Pursuit of Freedom podcast. I've got an interesting guest on today. Typically, I'm interviewing the real estate investor in the single-family world, a little bit of multifamily, but today I've got a guy that's doing a lot of remodeling in 3 different states for big multifamily syndicators. And I just learned he's actually buying them as well. So I'm super excited to get this interview going. Dax, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So introduce yourself, tell us where you live, and kind of a little bit about you.
Sure. So Dax Ferguson, live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, live on a farm in McKinney with my wife of 23 years and my 9 sons.
Oh, really?
So ranging from 21 to 4. So I'm in all stages of life. So
nice.
Except diapers, finally out of those.
Yeah.
But so kind of, got into the construction in single family and rehab back in about 2008, left a technology job doing dental office networking and software setup, and came over to the roofing side, and then went into the rehab side and started Heritage in 2011. And we've grown crazy ever since. So it's kind of a little bit about us.
That's awesome. So from the little I know about your business, you started in 2011. Was that part-time? Like part-time, you were doing a second deal, or was it just?
No, that was full-time. I jumped in, started this company, and it's been my full-time job ever since. So we in single family.
That's what it was.
Doing a lot of fire and water and roof claims and things of that nature, all primarily insurance work. And then dabbled in rehab a little bit, and then did a little bit of apartment roofing when we first started down in San Antonio. Wasn't even doing much up here in the Dallas market. And then
really?
2015, I made the switch and said, I need to get out of the single family and get into the multifamily. It was taking the same amount of resources and time to complete a much bigger project, which obviously made more profit for us. And
right.
Made the switch in 2015, end of 2015, and it's been a crazy, crazy ride ever since.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you got out of single family because of you said there, the same amount of work and time and resources for the 2 different projects, different profit barriers. But I think that's the same thing that a lot of us are in as in single family investors. We're like, man, we need to stop doing these little baby houses and get into the big boy league. But how did you bridge that gap? You said you started with the roofs there, the apartment roofs?
Started with the roofs, and I had a couple of customers that we really worked well together. And he said, hey, I want to challenge you. Let's do more than roofing on the next one.
Okay.
Can you do the siding and painting? And I'm like, sure, we can do that as well. And so kind of flowed that in and, knocked that one out of the park. And then he said, what about parking lots? Can you do that? And what about changing the lights on the place? And yeah, we can do that. And so it just continually grew by building trust in the relationship with our customers. And that's really kind of where we pride ourselves. It's a business partnership, right? So, I'm watching out for their asset, and they want me to expand because they enjoy working with me, and they know that I'll do the job on time with high integrity, and people like working with me because of that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So are you going out and doing those bids and initial due diligence yourself?
Yeah. So I initially, right, when we started, I would go out and walk every job and, point out some, things to add to the property to make it better. And, they would point out what they wanted to do to the property. We would talk about it. And then I would put the bid together and, we'd work out a contract. Today, we've grown so much. I've got, project managers all over Texas and Atlanta, and we're growing to the Phoenix market. So I really have them go out and do a lot of this. I'll do the initial walk, but they'll put the pricing together and put the quoting together, and then they perform the work. They make sure the work is performed. So,
Right. And are
uh,
you, I've heard of companies that are nationwide traveling remodeling companies for some of this stuff. And even I know a lot of the roads we see being done in Texas aren't even really local companies. It's sometimes out of state companies. Is that how you operate, or you just do use contractors within the immediate
kind
area?
of, it's kind of a mixture of both. So we have some core contractors that travel with us, and then we have some we'll get locally. So when you have national accounts with maybe a roofing supply house, they have some labor forces that are local
Hmm.
that they want to do the work that they really like. And so it makes, them look better if they can refer a great labor source. You'll buy more product from them, you'll get more work. And so it's kind of
Right.
a great marriage. So we do a lot of that.
Right.
And but we have, our core crews, our siding guys travel with us, our painters travel with us. And what we do is we rent an apartment where we're working. So we have a container there with all our supplies and ladders and everything. Throw that on the parking lot. We have all our material there. They sleep in one of the apartments or two, depending on how many crews we need there. And then they wake up, they go to work every day, and then they go to bed and do it all again. So until we're done with the project.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So, yeah.
And we touched on it briefly there, but one of my biggest reasons for bringing you on is you've expanded into 3 and now even 4 different markets or states even. So not even just Texas, because obviously you're up here in DFW, but you said a lot of your work is down in San Antonio area. Um, was that kind of natural, or did you force yourself into those areas? Did you know people out there that needed your assistance? You're like, I'll figure it out.
No, it was really, we had syndicators that were looking at other markets, and we had built a relationship with them here. And they're
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm looking at a job in Atlanta, and I don't know who to use. I really trust you. Could you come out there and look at it? And so I'm like, sure. Well, in my past life, I opened up offices remote, so I know the process of opening up a remote office and what you have
Yeah.
to place and things you have to do. So it's kind of a natural thing for me to go, yeah, we'll do it, and you trust us to get the work done, and we'll do this. You work with us, we'll work with you, we'll make it happen. So
Hmm.
with having some of the traveling crews that we have, it makes it a much easier progression. And now with these syndicators going, in some of these hot markets, like the Phoenix market's pretty hot right now, or I would say Arizona in general, because Tempe is
Hmm.
as well. And then Atlanta and the Georgia markets. Oklahoma's becoming a huge, huge deal. So we're going up to Oklahoma a lot, and then
Hmm.
all over Texas. So
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to be able to help people work with the same guys here in Texas and in Atlanta, whether
Yeah.
it's in San Antonio or Atlanta area. You're working with the same ownership, and you know how each other works, so it makes it a great partnership there.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a great opportunity, because finding new business, all those can be beneficial, but can oftentimes be a giant nightmare. So if you can keep working with the same people that you know, like, and trust, life is a lot easier. That I know that one firsthand, unfortunately, but
Absolutely, absolutely. It takes a lot of the fear from the syndicator of having to worry about new subs and new
yeah,
contractors and new markets. So I think it's a marriage that's great.
yeah. In the syndicators, on their side, they're probably able to bring in the money easier from their passive investors, knowing that they have a trusted GC that's going to do their, $250,000, $500,000 rehab instead of just some new company they had never met that could run with the money. So
Absolutely,
yeah, it's
absolutely.
no, that's what's a 3-way win, 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 win.
That's it.
So I'm curious, what you do a lot of work in all these different markets, and you started out with the roof and the siding. Where has it gone? Are you full on interior, exterior, HVAC, boilers, all that now, or
No interiors, so
really? Okay.
boilers, yes. Chillers, yes. But roofing, siding, painting. We do a lot of cedar work on balconies and build
Yeah.
patios, and We do a lot of pergolas, outdoor kitchens, playgrounds, and parking lots. I mean, we're doing foundations in San Antonio right now. So we kind of pretty much anything on the exterior we can take care of, whether it's, lighting or any of the other issues. Interiors, we really don't focus on interiors. However, if you purchase a property and you have 20 or so down units, you need to get them back online so you can get them rented out. We can go in there and we can knock those 20 out, but we're not going to continue after that. We're not going to do your 2 turns every month, your 3 turns every month, because we deploy such large crews to go out there and knock it out. They're not going to stay behind. Once we that project, we're gone. So we want to help you get back on track, start hitting your performance and things of that nature. But once we're done with the project, we kind of encourage, and we also can help. We've done it several times with the sponsors and go, hey, here's a couple of crews that you can use that will help you out, do your turns on a monthly basis. But you work with them directly, you make your decisions, and you go from there.
Yeah. Okay. How about, so you're doing primarily exterior. So I know a lot of NOI increase opportunities lie in the exterior curb appeal, meaning I know you can raise the performance of a property simply by putting paid covered parking in. And then the success of an apartment complex often lies in the community feel of the property, which is where you come in with the pergolas and all of that stuff. Is that stuff that the syndicators just know, or are those things that you kind of recommend to them, like, hey, we should probably do this type of feel to the property? Or
Yeah, so that comes out when we're walking the property, maybe during their due diligence, maybe before even their due diligence, and they're trying to figure out what things they want to do to the property. And I call it the vision cast, right? So they're going, hey, should I put carports in here? And I'm like, well, the cost of doing a carport is anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 per spot. And what are you going to get from it? What does this market allow you to get from a covered parking? Is it better to do that, or is it better just to give them a reserve spot, paint reserved on there with a number, and that's their reserve spot, and that's going to give you X amount as well. So really, you have to be very specific and know that market. So we go in and we learn the markets, and we talk to everybody around, and we go, okay, what's the market allowing here? And we help the owners and the sponsors figure that out. We do a lot of that. But one of the things I was telling you about a little bit ago is the pergolas and the outdoor kitchens and the playgrounds. What that does in these communities is creates a stickiness factor, right? So your goal is you're going into the property, you're going to beautify it and fix the outside and fix the inside, and you're going to start raising rents, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do when you go in here and do that to these communities. But sometimes raising the rents without creating some of these amenities, or what I call stickiness factors on the property, you have people leave, right? Because they're like, well, I can't afford $100 more rent a month. But when you create some community areas, so pergolas create a gathering area, maybe around a playground. And so you have a single mom next to, maybe it's a married couple, and they all have kids the same age. And the single mom, really trusts this lady that they've met. They've hung outside. They watch their kids play. They've become really close friends. As you're enhancing this property and making it better, you start raising rents. A single mom may not have a lot of extra cash, but she also has a dear friend that she can trust with her kids when she needs help. And it creates this factor that she doesn't want to leave. She would pay the extra $100 to have that relationship, friendship, someone that she can trust watch her kids when she has an emergency or something like that, that then going next door and starting all over and maybe not having that. So we've seen some of these things completely change the dynamic of these properties just by adding a sense of community there. Doing community events and all that on top of it. But I'm just talking about the day-to-day life of these people, right? And then a couple of other things like throwing the playground. I had a property in Atlanta where the kids really had nothing to do on the property, and so they were throwing rocks at windows. several times a week, the glass company was coming out replacing windows, and then we put the playground in, and the kids went and played on the playground instead of throwing rocks at windows. And that was the added benefit, right? So you had the cost of the playground, but you had the cost reduction in not having to replace so many windows. It's kind of a funny extra benefit that they found after they did it. So
Yeah.
have some as well.
Yeah, I know all the ruckus kids raise when they get bored. I mean, I was one of them.
Right.
I was constantly bored. It doesn't matter how many activities I had going on in my life. I always seemed bored, so I was always raising hell.
You got it. And I've got 9 boys. You know how that is.
Yeah. Yikes. I got 2 girls, and thankfully they're not super rambunctious, but man, couldn't imagine. So a lot of this has been on the construction side, and it's brought you a great deal of knowledge. We spoke before that now you and your company, you and some partners, I assume, are going in and buying these now.
So what we're doing, I want to correct you a little bit on that. What we're doing is we created a due diligence software that we go for the syndicators, and yes, we are purchasing. That is our goal. That is our plan. In 2020, we'll be doing our own deals. But right now, we've created a software for due diligence. So let's say you have a property and you go out and do your due diligence, and you probably either do it with your management team or you yourself with a group of the guys that are investing in the property. Y'all walk the units, you take pictures, and you do all that. Mm-hmm. What we do is we do that for you, right? So you come with us, but we have a whole team that comes out. We walk every interior. We take 25 to 35 pictures of the interior, and that's going to be outside of the refrigerator. It's going to be the tag on the inside of the refrigerator giving you model number and serial number for any warranty issues you may have. But it also gives you kind of the date of that appliance. So we do it for all your appliances, do it for flooring, countertops, sinks, it's just every detail in there. Fire extinguishers, we make sure they're up to date. We make sure your smoke alarms are actually working. We make sure your filters are replaced. We take a picture of your toilets, because if you're planning on doing the green program or water conservation program, you want to know if you're going to be approved for that, right? You want to know if you already have low flow in there or not in every right? So some people say, oh, we've done the green, we've done water conservation, and you go in and they've done it maybe to half of them, but they haven't done it to all. And so every unit, you'll have a picture of every toilet, every sink, every refrigerator. So it's very, very intuitive for every single unit. So now you can dial in to the software. If you're not on site, you can log in and watch the due diligence happen live. If you can't be there, you look at it on your computer screen. You can see where we're at, how many units we've done, how many are left, and some of the problems that we're finding in the units. So whether you're at your home office or if you're in the office there on the property and you're doing maybe the rent audits and things of that nature. So you'll have full access to that while we're doing it. And then the other thing about it is the reporting side, right? So you have, if you're a spreadsheet person, we have spreadsheet for you. If you're a picture guy or gal, we have the picture report for you. We have an all-inclusive, which has data and pictures. And then we have what's called a price replacement cost report. So let's say you had 24 dishwashers that needed to be replaced. Well, guess what? 24 dishwashers on this report show up, a price per dishwasher, and the total amount to replace all the dishwashers that either found faulty or were missing from the report or from the units. So it gives you all that data, and you can do your true due diligence in real time. So once we're done with the property, we say give us 24 hours to give you the report. Really, you have all the data. The only thing not in there is our drone footage, because we fly the drone around, check the roofs out, give you all that data. We import it into the report. And so the next day you'll have all that data at your fingertips.
Really? 24 hours, huh?
24
Holy smokes. That's crazy. I mean, most single-family contractors working on one single house can't get all the information back in a day. That's nuts. Right. That's awesome.
It's completely automated, and it just hands over to you, and you get to look at it and do whatever you want to from there.
I mean, that's got to be extremely powerful, because even for experienced syndicators, they know the business aspect of it, but walking every single property and noticing and catching every single, I mean, I had no idea. Well, I guess, I mean, I don't know, but checking the dates of the fridges, I mean, that's pretty intense. I mean, you're capturing every aspect of every unit. So that's pretty powerful. And I had just recently learned that, replacing the toilets for less flow was a thing with syndicators. I partner with a buddy that's doing some syndications on a small apartment complex, and he's like, "We'll go in here and replace all these toilets." I'm like, "Wow, what are we doing that for?" And he's like, and then all the water fixtures and the shower heads, and I'm like, "Really? We can save that much water to where it really makes a big difference?" And I was pretty blown away by that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. That and power, right? So switching everything over to LED,
Yeah.
being able to switch everything. If it's an all bills paid, that's going to be meaningful savings, right?
Right.
Or if you're doing rubs, it's going to be meaningful to you until you can get the rub done, and then once you do the rub, it's meaningful to the tenant that their electric bill isn't so high. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So again, we take pictures of the light fixtures so you have them.
Yeah.
Know which ones have been transformed and which ones haven't.
Right. No, that's incredible. That's awesome. I mean,
So
that's got to be valuable. Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, especially for, I think I know a few of your syndicators who live in the DFW area and are doing stuff in Atlanta. They can't always make it out there.
Yeah.
Or it's a process they don't even want to be a part of because they've got other things to be doing. So that's pretty awesome. I didn't realize there was such a service for syndicators. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and all syndicators want to do is look for the next deal, right? They want to stabilize and move on, and
right.
gives them the data for them to do so.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And having a place to go for all of that, the consulting and the construction has got to be pretty powerful for them as well.
We think so.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you were referred to me by a good friend of mine, and when we met up at that networking event and realized you were doing construction for a handful of them in that room, definitely realized you're the real deal at that point for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're very proud of our referrals, and that's how we grow our business. I mean, we do, podcasts and stuff like yours, but really it comes from the referral. And as long as we keep doing the work that we pride ourselves in doing, we'll continue to grow, and we'll continue to grow our business internally so that we can continue to grow externally, right? So
yeah, definitely.
Our plan.
So where do you see Heritage going in 2020 and beyond?
I'd love to say, conquering the world. But,
yeah, right.
Really, we want to grow at a healthy pace with the right partners in the right markets. I don't see myself going to Alaska or Hawaii, or honestly, California. Probably wouldn't go to California either. But, Tennessee, we're having some interest in Tennessee. We've had some interest in Kansas here recently. Obviously, expanding, doing more projects in our current markets, Oklahoma and Atlanta, or I say Atlanta, but Georgia and Arizona and Texas, expanding those markets. But really just I kind of listen to my customers, listen to where they're going, see what's happening in different markets. And then with the due diligence that we do now, we can do that nationwide, right? So if somebody puts us up in Indianapolis, we can go up there and take care of that there. So we do market that as a nationwide product.
Yeah.
But part of that is so we can see what other markets are doing and also where the next hot market is. So if we get 10 calls to go to Indianapolis, in the next 2 months, we know it's probably a pretty hot market. And
right.
We might want to think about expanding there as our next market.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Do you get a lot of people calling in, new syndicators who want, 350 doors done and you've never met them before? Does that happen like weekly?
Yeah.
Really?
It happens probably once a month. Yeah.
Really?
Getting a call from somebody we've never met. We're at a lot of events and we see a lot of different people. We may have met them at one point. Like,
right.
Hey, for me, we met 6 months ago. And I'm like, Yes, I remember.
Yes, I remember. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and then they're like, well, I'm working on a deal I want you to come take a look at. So that's kind of it. Another
Yeah.
thing we do a lot of is, hey, I'm going to Atlanta. Anybody have anything they want me to look at while I'm
Yeah.
in Atlanta? And I'll get, some customers, clients go, hey, I'm really looking at this property. Keep it on the down low, but go look at this property while you're out there and tell me what you think and just give me a real vibe of the property. And
Mhm.
so we do a lot of that for our current customers as well.
That's cool. Yeah. Because I know for me alone, like when I have a house that I'm going to look at in a city I haven't ever been to, I'm like, man, do I really want to make the drive? It'd be cool to call up a buddy and be like, you want to drive by this house real quick and see if it's even worth driving out for?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's pretty cool too. Um, so you said you don't want to conquer, you don't really want to go to Alaska or California. So growing the heritage platform into infinity and beyond. Uh, any other business moves you plan on doing?
So 2020, I built a farm last year, and so a lot of my extra cash went into building that. So looking to maybe refi it and pull some of that cash and start investing in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can do some more. I won't syndicate. I'll just passively invest because I want to keep doing what I do. I love this business,
Mm-hmm.
but I love what I do in this business. So
Right.
I probably just invest with some of the people we've worked for in the past and go from there because they know what they're doing better than I do on that side of things. But I can
Right.
up.
Yeah. Right. Right. You said you built a farm in McKinney, right? You said.
Yep. Live on a 53-acre farm in McKinney, and it's a beautiful place for me and my family, and get them out of the house and run around and maybe do some work.
Right. 53 acres. You need to get 9 lawnmowers so they can all start mowing. Well, maybe
Good
not the
thing
4-year-old.
I have a great tractor that gives me my peace of mind. I just go sit on it and ride for hours,
Yeah.
clear my head.
Yeah. No, well, pretty soon there'll be drones out there doing it for you. So
Right.
even Lowe's is selling those robot yard lawnmowers now. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I'm sure the yard has to be perfectly level and no bumps and ruts and all that stuff. But I mean, it's pretty
No
cool.
cow
So
patties, none of that.
right. Well, one of these days that they'll be mowing your 53 acres for you. Well, Dax, I appreciate you coming on. I always ask everybody one question at the end: is if you had 6 months to live, what would you do with it?
spend spend time with my family, speak into other people's lives, and teach my knowledge as much as possible so that they can carry it on.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's just like a lot of those principles are in it's the book, The Go Giver and Think and Grow Rich. So that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Dex, how can people reach you if they want to reach out to you with any questions or properties they'd like you to look at?
So you find me on Facebook. It's a great way to communicate with me. It's just Dax Ferguson. You'll see my mugshot there with my
Mm-hmm.
better half standing next to me. So that's a plus. Um, you can email me at dax@heritageccs.com, or you can call me. My cell number is 469-261-1190.
Got it. And it was Heritage CCS.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, I'll put that down in the notes for everybody. And I appreciate you taking time out of today and coming on and telling us a little bit about your business and how you grew. It's awesome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dax.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Bye.